Hey guys, Vedant here, and yesterday I watched Tomorrowland, so today let's talk about Tomorrowland. So the story is that there's this teenage girl named Cassie, and after she gets arrested for trespassing a NASA shuttle site, she mysteriously finds a pin upon touching. She gets transported to Tomorrowland. And she teams up with George Clooney, who plays a guy named Frank Walker, who also went to Tomorrowland in his childhood. And she also teams up with a robot girl named Athena, so that they can go to Tomorrowland. I'm just gonna stop there because I do not want to spoil this movie, which the acting is done by George Clooney, Britt Robertson, and Raffi Cassetti. George Clooney, who plays Frank Walker, I think he does a really amazing job here. He appears all natural and stuff like that, and he does really appear to be old and grumpy in this film. Britt Robertson from The Longest Ride, which I really do not like that movie. She plays Cassie, the teenage girl who finds the badge to Tomorrowland. I think she's acting really natural in this film, which is a good thing, but there are some instances in which she starts to stutter her dialogue, and I think the best performance I've seen in this movie is definitely Raffi Cassetti, the girl who plays Athena, a robot girl who, in childhood, met George Clooney at the World Fair in 1964. This girl's only 12 or 13. I think she does a fantastic job. If I could, I would get another thumb for this. Direction is done by Brad Bird, the same guy who directed Mission Impossible, Ratatouille, and all that stuff. I'll have to say that the direction is really, really good. The cinematography itself is awesome. And these visuals and all those futuristic gadgets and stuff. If I was the person who saw a future, I would also want to go to Tomorrowland. But I do not think it was worth for Brad Bird to reject episode 7 for this movie, which I'll get into later. I think the film, the story of it is pretty original. They just took a Disney ride and made their own story about it. It is really, really good. And really creative gadgets. But now let's get into the main problem of the film. The trailers were extremely vague, so I was expecting to see more of Tomorrowland, which sadly, I think it's only 20 or 30 minutes of the 2-hour film. Listen, if a film's called Tomorrowland, I expect to see Tomorrowland. The story is more about getting to Tomorrowland rather than seeing Tomorrowland. I wanted to interact with the people of Tomorrowland, but I didn't. And in the third and fourth act, when we finally do get to Tomorrowland, the villain comes out of he comes in a really bizarre manner, and the moral that they try to tie into the story, the moral, I'm not gonna tell you the moral because that will destroy the whole point of the movie, but the moral does contradict with real life. It shows the apocalypse and all that stuff, which I do not think it supports the moral at all. So in conclusion, the writing, the pacing is horrible. There are some scenes which are fluid and good, but there are some scenes that are really sluggish, which could have easily been removed from the film, could have had more time for Tomorrowland. And another big problem with the writing is that there's just too much. 2 hours we're dealing with the past, the present, and the future. That's too much for a movie. At least make a sequel, or at least, a friend of mine who went with me told me that they should have at least extended it by an hour. They keep pushing exposition onto exposition with you. In conclusion, I give Tomorrowland a 6 out of 10. It is slightly above decent. Just keep your expectations low, and if you have children, they'll probably enjoy it.